so what I've got on this is I've gone through the sample folder and I've just picked out a few kind of percussive sounds that I like the idea of using. So I've gone through and I tried to identify stuff that is vaguely appropriate, so like a kick drum, a snare drum, etc. But I say don't be too picky about this because really it's all going to be the processing that makes a difference. So the first thing I've done is I've got all my sounds and just dragged them into a blank Logic project and saved it. So I'll just play you the sounds. I can turn them all down a little bit first just to stop any clipping. Right, so I've got a car door sound, which to me sounds vaguely kick-like. I've got this sort of tin sound, which I'm going to use for a hi-hat. Some interesting ones in there. I've got this deodorant can, which I'm going to use for an open hat. I've got footsteps and milk bottles I'm going to use for like snares and perks. And then finally I've got some vocals, but we'll come back to this at the end. So in order to get these into as playable instruments, so these sounds, and pop them into a sampler, I need to use the EXS24 sampler. So I'm going to click on my first sound, my kick, my car door kick, and I'm going to press Control and click on the audio file. So Control, this one here on the Mac keyboard, and then click, and I'm going to go to Convert to New Sampler Track. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call this Kick. And I'm going to pick regions, not transient markers. So the difference between them, regions will do the whole audio file. Transient markers will slice it up into individual hits. So that's more useful for sort of replaying like melodic phrases, or if you've got a full drum beat and you want to chop it up into individual components. I'm going to go regions, I'm going to call it kick, and my trigger note range, I'm just going to have it from C1, which is my lowest key on the standard keyboard without transposing, and I'm going to end it on C1 too, because I just want it playable on one key, and C1 is generally the kick key on the drum kit, so that's what we're going to use. Hit OK. And we've now got a playable kick drum. Okay, let's go through the rest of the sounds and do a similar thing. So for my sort of this tin I'm going to use for a hi-hat, the sample's a lot longer, there's more hits in there. So the first thing I need to do is isolate the one I want. And the one I want is this second hit here. So I'm going to use my marquee tool, and I'm going to press Command and click anywhere in the region. It gives me this little transient line. I can then use my left and right arrow keys to go between the hits. And I'm going to chop this one out here, zoom in, and as it's caught it, I can press backspace, which will make a cut there. I'll use my command click for my marquee again, and I'm just going to cut the other side, so backspace, and let's get rid of these. Just got that one little click sound. And again, Control click. And at the top now I've got Convert to New Sampler Track because it was the last command I used. Same thing, regions, I'm going to call this closed hat, or just hat. And I'm going to have regions, the trigger note range this time I'm going to have as my hi-hat key, which is usually an F sharp. So F sharp 1, F sharp 1. Now to pick that, I actually press the button on my MIDI keyboard, so I press the F sharp key. Depending on the key you press, it will automatically change it. And again, I've got my newly clicked hat sounds. And let's move on and do some more. So my open hi-hat, I'm going to use a sound from this. So I've chopped out a bit of this deodorant can sample and I'm going to use for my open hat. So right click. In fact, this time I'm going to put it on the same track as my hi-hats. So I'm going to open up my hi-hat instrument. And I go to edit, and this will show me my sample. So I've got this coded in, and it's on the F sharp key. This deodorant can, I'm going to click and just drag it in underneath. I'm going to put that to G sharp 1. My low will be G sharp 1. You see it moving at the bottom. And my high will be G sharp 1. I just want the one note. So now I've got closed and open on the same instrument, which is quite useful for my hi-hats. The other thing I'm going to do while I'm in here is I'm going to click one shot on these samples to make sure the sampler plays the whole sound. If that's not ticked, it might not play the whole sample, depending on how long your MIDI note is, but if that's ticked for percussive sounds, it means you get the full sample. Save that one. In fact, I'm going to go back and do that on my kick and as well. This footsteps, I'm going to use like a little percussion sound. So go through again, use my marquee tool, left and right arrows, pick one. That was okay. One that's quite isolated. Let's go for that one. I'm going to chop it both sides, delete the excess, and drag them back to the beginning. That'll do. Right click, give it sample track, regions, let's call this one perk, and trigger note range I'm going to have as on my D1 key for the snare. Cool. And then lastly for now, this milk bottle sound effects. I'm going to use that sort of auxiliary snare sounds. So chop, chop, trim that one a little bit more. And again, right click, sampler track. Let's call this perk 2 and put it on the E1 key. And again, I just need to go through these, edit, and make sure one shot is clicked. So it plays the full sample. Edit, and one shot. Okay, we've now got to the point where I've got all my samples. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to, all these original audio files, I'm not going to delete them. I'm going to stick them at the top, out of the way. Just so I've got a bit more room. So fill out my samples and just keep it muted. And now, if I turn these all on to record, by clicking the R, I should have a vaguely playable drum kit that definitely needs some work. So this is when we come onto the processing side, and this is sort of the fun bit. Now with my kick drum, I'm going to treat it exactly like a normal kick. So I'm going to start with an EQ, get rid of anything below 20, we don't need that. I'm going to have a real big boost up in this bass end. Give it some oomph. Give it a bit of top, around the 2.5K. Now I'm going to cut these mids. You'd be quite extreme with this, more so than you would a real instrument. Pop a compressor underneath to even it out. Let's use my 1176 style, classic VCA. Let's use a quite heavy 4:1 ratio. I really slam down on those transients. Pop the limiter on 2. And then finally, let's use the saturation knob for a bit of distortion. I'm going to click keep low, so my lows are unaffected. Everything off. And back on. Let's do a similar thing with the hats and the percussion sounds. So the hats, I'm just going to filter off all the low ends. Chop a bit of the highs as well. I could put a let's put a bit of chorus on it. A bit of movement. Okay. My percussion sounds, again, filters in the lows. And with this, I'm actually going to use some reverb. So I'm going to set up a reverb bus. And let's use Space Designer for this. Let's have a drum plate, why not? That's cool. We're quite heavy on this. And I'll copy those same settings to the percussion below. I'll put a delay on this as well, I think. So send to a new bus. Let's go for tape delay to get sort of dubby kind of vibe. Cool. And then last one you see, I'm going to bust these all out just to a drum bus. And onto the drum bus, let's put some compression just to even it out. Just going to have a platinum that's going to use the standards kind of bass settings, just a 2:1. Leave it as that for now, we can come back and edit that. And I need to play it in the part, so I'm going to do something quite garagey, sort of 2 steps. I'm going to go for a sort of 135 tempo. And let's program in a part with this. Make sure you quantize. And I'm also going to level out the velocity. So I'm going to put everything to sort of its maximum range. If I hold Alt, I can then fix the velocity. And I can drag a few of these around to get a bit of a shuffly kind of sound. Cool, let's do my perk next. And now let's do my hats. And with the hats, I'm actually going to quantize them to a sort of more of a swing kind of feel. So let's go for one of these. Copy a bit pessimist. Let's actually put that same swing feel on everything. And just go full kind of dubby garage. I'm going to chop some of the EQ off this drum bus. And make sure I send my reverb and delay bus to this drums as well, just get the same EQ effect. And there we go.